And welcome back, everybody. It is time for game number 2 here in the third place match between DragOn and TechnicS. Last game, we saw an interesting strategy here from TechnicS, going 4-hatch Hydra against DragOn. A very good idea, and then proceeding to lose like all of his overlords a lot, multiple times.
Horribly.
Yeah, so that was a bit curious, but it all worked out for him in the end. So that was quite good. I think DragOn making a pretty costly mistake when holding his third base, just wasting individual storms on individual lurkers rather.
Yeah, it's always baffled me watching players doing that. Especially when they know there's a significant force to back them up. If it's just lurkers, okay. But when you know there's a whole bunch of Hydras on the map just waiting to crash down on you, it does not make sense to use individual storms on single lurkers. It makes more sense to give up the position.
Especially because he only had 3 High Templar. You know, sometimes when you open, you end up with like, 6 High Templar or something. And then you're like, okay, I have like a million storms, let's use 1 here to clear out this annoying lurker. Okay, that's understandable. But because he'd spent so much gas on the Corsairs, he had like a million Zealots and 3 High Templars with 1 storm each. And he used all of them on single lurkers.
Yeah, not good at all. The army composition for TechnicS was really good for dealing with that, with quite a few lurkers mixed in there, and DragOn's forced to deal with that was just a little bit too late, and it was a weird decision to try and hold on to that third base. Just whatever, come what may, I'm going to hold on to this third base. It was a slightly strange train of thought. So hopefully DragOn kind of recollects himself in between games and gets his head back into the right space, because he was just a bit off that game. Well, TechnicS wasn't exactly top notch on it with his overlord speed weirdness, but even so.
Indeed. Well, this map is going to be Aztec, so this is going to be interesting because, DragOn did have some trouble against Julia on this map as well, mainly because of Julia's lurker dropping style, which Aztec is quite good for, of course, the main base, pretty vulnerable to drops. But I don't know if TechnicS will necessarily do that. I don't really recall seeing TechnicS do like fast lurker drop openings in ZVP very much. No. Is that something you think he would do?
No, he doesn't seem like it. TechnicS, I often think of him as a pretty mid-gamey kind of player. That kind of thing doesn't characterize him for me.
Yeah,
it's possible because of the map. It is quite favorable for that kind of thing, but I think probably not.
Oh, and actually, on the other hand, I just remembered, this is the map where DragOn took his game off Ziki, though.
Is it now? Yes, so it is.
Yeah.
So it is, exactly.
So that's interesting.
He's got to win this one then, hasn't he?
Yeah, but, lost to Julia, won against Ziki. Not sure what that says. But I guess we'll see what happens with TechnicS. This will be the decider, whether DragOn's actually good or bad on this map.
Yeah, exactly. It's still up in the air for us.
Alright, so going into game number 2 then, DragOn versus TechnicS on Neo Aztec.
Let's do it.
And here we go into game number 2 at the bottom right position. As the white Protoss, we have Dragon Pain. Actually, sort of peachish, not really white. But anywho, at the left side position as the red Zerg, we have TechnicS Bag.
TechnicS Bag, yeah. Probably one of the better of the bag names. TechnicS Bag. There's not really much you can do that. It makes me think of a mechanic or something.
Exactly. It's pretty cool.
It's alright. Yeah, TechnicS Bag. But as we said before, DragOn, this is his battleground. This is where the magic happened. This is where he took a game off Ziki. So interesting to see if he plays similarly as he did in that game in this one, or whether he's prepared something fresh and crazy for us just for today. But I wouldn't think why he'd do that. If it works against Ziki, it's probably going to work against TechnicS. And here we go, throwing down the pile at the front door. I think that's in the same position even as last time as well. So it's just yeah, doing what he knows best.
Now, I think this map might help his style a little bit. So we saw last game, he wasn't able to establish a third, so he really wasn't able to get his crazy macro train rolling. But on this map, even though your the easy to defend third is a mineral only, you know, it's at the top of a ramp, even though it's a wide ramp, and then so if you just hold the narrow ramp and the wide ramp, you can basically defend this mineral only. And so if you just pump out extra Zells, you don't really care that much about the gas, which seemed to be Dragon's plan against Iki anyway. He just took that base. I think that's absolutely fine. And of course, once Dragon gets those 3 bases, he seems to be a pretty scary opponent. So this will probably be good for him in this game.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Like you said, Dragon off his 3 bases worries. Both these guys, I think, I feel like off the kind of 3-4 base mid game, they're equally quite strong, and I feel like that's kind of what they favor. I'm not so well educated.
Is he gonna kill a drone? Is it 80 HP drone? He was shooting it across the minerals.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, for anyone who is unaware, probes actually have 2 range, so they can actually shoot across stuff.
That's so crazy, isn't it? What's the range of drones? Is it shorter? Or is it 2 as well?
I think drones can actually do the same thing, only SCVs can't.
SCVs and their melee attack. Yeah. It sucks. It sucks. So does that mean that probes can't attack under Dark Swarm?
That is an interesting point, I'm not sure.
Or is it melee with range?
I'm pretty sure. That is a very strange point. I think,
I feel like they can, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because usually
the thing is, right, by the time, if you're getting Dark Swarmed, if your probes are fighting, they're probably fighting against like cracklings and ultras.
Yeah.
And so they're probably dying too fast for you to even tell if they're doing damage.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like you wouldn't actually know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trouble. So if anyone knows the answer to that, do probes to damage into Dark Swarm.
3rd hatchery at the natural elegant.
Whoa, that's interesting. Before he even got rid of the probe as well. The probe does die, unfortunately, which maybe it didn't need to do right there. So he won't see the 3rd hatchery at the natural, which is a little bit of a problem, because this is the kind of information that you really need to be getting down as Protoss. So TechnicS has got something interesting planned for us, and yeah, he's got his things coming up now.
If he goes 4 hatch no gas again, and he gets that 4th hatch at the mineral only, I think this
looks
is
like
fine.
it. He's getting the 4th.
Yes, he is going to get at the top. Okay, he's going to get top left mineral only. But okay, so it is 4 hatch no gas. He's actually doing the same build as last time. And yeah, so this actually makes sense. If you go 4 or 5 hatch no gas, you don't actually necessarily need to make the 3rd hatchery at another base, because it doesn't actually make a difference in the build. So you can just make it at the natural, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's true actually. But Dragon, I'm feeling a little bit worried that he's got no scouting information about this whatsoever. He has got a probe out running around. He's gonna go to the top left, I would imagine. Yeah. But he's still not going to know exactly what's going on. It's really important when you're fighting against a build such as this to really know.
Man, the Zerglings are in intercept position though. Can they get it?
They're going to get it. It looks like they're going to catch the probe. Unless Dragon's able to do some sneaky micro. The Lings are more interested in blocking the top left-hand corner, interestingly enough. Meanwhile, Dragon already has cybernetics core. He's making his Stargate. No sign of +1 air weapons as of yet, but he doesn't have the gas in the bank so far, so we'll see. Looks like the drone block on the ramp. Ooh, TechnicS being a little
this is really nice.
Yeah.
See, the drone's going to see this hatchery finish. That's quite early for that to be done already. And if he's going to go to the middle, he's going to see no third. So he needs to scout this top left base. If he doesn't, he has to prepare for some kind of 2-base cheese, like really fast muta or fast lurker drop or something. This is kind of like what Julia did. Julia didn't bother taking the fast third base because he was going for the lurker drops. And Dragon now, he's not sure. He's suspicious. He thinks there's a base here, but he can't confirm it. So he has to be just a little bit worried about some kind of craziness coming out.
Yeah, this is awkward for Dragon. He's gonna think, okay, 90%, especially given the way TechnicS was kind of defending the scouting information. At 90%, there is a hatchery there, but 10% there isn't, and 10% he's about to get killed by early Mutalisks.
Yeah, that's the danger. That's the danger. Although it doesn't look like he's overreacting or anything. He's not building any extra cannons that won't be necessary. I would probably build a cannon in the main mineral line right now, just as an emergency defense. But he seems to be pretty confident that TechnicS isn't doing it. Now, of course, he did play against 4-hatch Hydra last game already, and he knows that 4-hatch Hydra can put this natural hatchery down, I'm pretty sure, because, well, he's a Zerg player as well, so I'm sure he knows. So I think his game sense is probably good enough that, you know, he's like, okay, I know what's going on, I'm not going to go crazy here.
as confirmed by the fact that he's taking time to kill the Overlord in
Yeah.
the middle of the map. If he really thought he didn't know what was up, he'd be going on over there, he'd be scouting as much as he could. He's going to see these two Hydras, and they're going to be able to bail out Mr. Overlord here, so it looks like DragOn's not going to be able to take the Overlord down. Maybe, is he going to bin his first Corsair? Don't do it, DragOn! Don't do it, DragOn! He's going to lose his Corsair.
Bad trade. Bad trade. Especially because he's going +1 Stairs. If he wasn't actually going mass Stairs, I could be like, well, it's not the best trade, but whatever. But if you're going +1 Stairs, it's not good.
Very, very poor trade. We've already got the first DT coming in from DragOn, and over at the other side of things we have Hydra's range, we have Hydra's speed already done for TechnicS, so it's yet another big, powerful Hydra's build coming in from him here. He's already got those 4 Hydra's pumping away, and he's just switched really into his Hydra's production. This is gonna get very big, very, very quickly. DragOn is still only on 2 gateways. He's gonna start gatewaying up now. He's got Storm on the way. That is gonna be done in time. He doesn't run too much risk of getting busted, especially with that DT out, and that kind of explains a little bit why he was so dead set on killing that Overlord, I suppose, so
That's
he could prevent the Hydra's threat in this stage of the game. Even so, I still don't know if it's quite worth it.
You know what's curious to me? I keep checking this lair because I'm like, is TechnicS gonna get Overlord speed this game? And he's not getting it.
Yeah.
He just does not care about these Overlords, man.
He doesn't like it.
Man, let me tell you, if you're an Overlord, you do not want to spawn in TechnicS' army. Just go spawn in like Siki's army or something, because TechnicS is not your friend. He will not keep you alive.
He hates you. It's decided.
Oh, man.
There's a whole lot of Overlord. There's a big Overlord farm in the natural expansion. Of course, they're about to find it, but there are a bunch of Hydralists ready to bail them out. This slow Overlord thing is really, really weird. He just loves it. There's no sign of the upgrade. There's no sign of the change.
It's not even like he gets Aspire and it does like a good job scourging the Corsairs. Although, okay, to be fair, this game he's doing a much better job with the Overlord positioning and making sure Hydras are defending them. So he's actually only lost a single Overlord, I think, so far this game.
That was a trade.
But like, how is he gonna attack ever? Because if his Overlords are slow, they can't move across the map, and so like 1 DT will stop his entire army.
Yeah.
So I don't understand
I don't even know.
what the long-term game plan is here. I mean, surely you need this eventually, right? I mean, otherwise you just can't leave your base.
He doesn't care. He's not gonna get it. We may even go the whole game again without seeing Overlord
crazy.
speed. Did he? He didn't get it at all last game, did he?
Oh
No,
man! Oh, we got mutas. But could you imagine how
have.
baller it would be if he like set himself a challenge, like a TL attack, that he's not allowed to get Overlord speed? So instead of using Overlords for detection in the late game, he uses Plague and Ensnare. How amazing would that be? Because if anyone who doesn't know, if you Plague or Ensnare a cloaked unit, you can see it and attack it.
Yeah.
So that would just be amazing.
That's really cool, actually. That's a little bit of simulation in Brood War. It's covered in goo. You can see it. It's not cloaked to the spell.
It makes sense.
Spell see all. It does make sense. It's way ahead of its time. Oh, and here we go. The Overlord farm is in severe danger. Useless coming in to save the day. I don't know. These Useless are not going to be so good at
Turn around, fight.
Instead.
Why didn't you fight the mutas? There's no Scourge.
Yeah, he's afraid of those Hydras, though. He's worried he's going to get caught. And once again, TechnicS bag is supply blocked bag. And hatching out Overlords at his natural. You love the bag. Hatching out Overlords at his natural, trying to catch up. Those Museless are a weird choice because he knew how many Corsairs there were on the map. So I don't quite understand the Museless, unless he's hoping just for one kind of big engagement, whereby his army comes off on top.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. He might just make a whole bunch of Scourge in a second here and try, but he's not though. He's not really contesting the air, is he?
He's made 6 Scourge and he's finding them out.
But that's not enough. That's not nearly enough. When we saw Siki do it, he made like 1 billion Scourge to get the huge surround off. By the way, someone just asked in chat, do parasitic units give you vision of cloak units? I believe they do not.
I don't think so.
No, but they only... Yeah, that is a good question. That's one of those things you think, oh, that would sort of make sense as well. But no, they don't, sadly.
Yeah, because it just gives you vision of that unit, not the vision of the other person controlling.
Oh god, the Corsairs are flying into the mutas. TechnicS isn't paying attention. He's losing some of his mutas. The Scourge are going in, but only a single Corsair goes down, and that was very costly for TechnicS. And now the rest of the mutas have to retreat. I think they will get away, but that was not ideal.
Yeah, it begs the question, like, what were the mutas doing there? What are the mutas doing here at all? But especially, what were they doing there? This is a really weird switch from TechnicS, and it's done nothing but cost him money so far.
Wow, he's not mining gas in his main or his natural. He's just stopped mining gas.
He has got a little bit of a mineral gas imbalance, but
I've never seen this though.
Oh, here we go. The Corsairs are going to catch up with Ruthless, and they might get Scourge though right here. Will he be able to do the whole position micro in time? It looks like he will be able to. A couple of Scourge landing, but oh damn, all these Ruthless are getting taken down right here. He's going to do the moving shot micro.
Nice.
Go, look at that. God damn.
Very nicely done.
Level of the overlords in the natural now. There's a few looking right for the picking.
Indeed there are, but there's quite a few Hydra scattered. Hydra scattered around. Yeah, I really hope TechnicS doesn't forget to put the guys back on gas, because he's now actually, you know, spent a good amount of the gas and he's making Scourge and stuff. So this could be problematic. Although he's making a lot of hatcheries though. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he just wants to make mass Hydra laying. He's like, screw gas, because his drone count isn't actually amazing. So the fact, like, you know, if you had a fully saturated drone line, pulling guys off gas doesn't even make sense because you can't mine minerals faster, or not that much faster anyway. But in this case, he actually sort of mines quite a bit faster with those drones off. It's really interesting how this is working.
Yeah, it's yeah, it really is. Very, very curious. We already have a Queen's Nest here though.
But surely. Look, he's got no gas now. He can't go. He can't go high. He's got no gas.
He's got no gas. He's got 43 gas. He's not mining any. This is so
he put them back. He put them back on the natural.
But he hasn't stored up anything for pressing the Yuki and winning the game.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I think that was like an interesting idea. Into oops, I forgot to put them back. It's alright. I do that all the time. Like when I off-race Terran, I'm doing like an FD. I'm like, oh look at me, I'm so cool. I pulled 2 SCVs off gas and I never put them back. Yeah, and I end up like with no gas. I'm like, oh my god, I have to make only vultures.
Yeah, you're doing a 6-pack push and it's got 2 tanks and 30 vultures. A bit unbalanced. Yeah. But we do have observers in on the map from this time from DragOn for the first engagement, but there are no lurkers from TechnicS, so that's not going to matter too much. But TechnicS running the risk of getting caught in a slightly disadvantageous position here. His a small portion of his army is up this ramp and he's looking a little bit high and dry. DragOn probably do well not to attack up there, and it's not too much of a bad position for TechnicS, and he can just hold that for the time being. Wondering if we're going to see his army come out for the flank as well, which would be quite nice. A few overlords in the main. Look like they're going to get caught by these Corsairs, which is still on the roam, but no, it looks like this Corsair is going to fight, only getting 1 overlord for their money. And here comes the army coming out from the 6-7 o'clock position right now. And that's going to get easily taken down. He might be able to snipe off a High Templar or 2 though with that Hydra Screw. I'm surprised he's not trying to do so, because that army is probably not going to be able to do too much more. The TechnicS producing a lot outside his natural expansion. That is a lot of stuff. DragOn's still ahead in supply though. We're seeing him build up a really nice death ball, not dissimilar to what he made versus Ziki, but maybe a little bit lighter on goons overall.
Yeah, his money's getting really high though. I'm not sure what he's been looking at. Has he just been microing his army this whole time? He's been staying. He's over 2k minerals now. He kind of sat at 180 supply for a really long time. I don't know if he might be saving supply to make Reavers or something. You sometimes see Protoss players do that. They'll leave, you know, 15 to 20 supplies spare just to make a few Reavers when the support bit finishes. But he's not actually making a Reaver yet, so not really sure what that's about. He's getting a 3 o'clock base though, and in the meantime, see, this is an interesting late game situation because TechnicS, having taken the top left base instead of another natural, doesn't have a favorable map split anymore. See, one problem a lot of Protoss face on this map is if Zerg takes another natural as their 3rd and then gets the main, they've immediately taken 2/3 of the map. And so if it goes to super late game, Protoss isn't really sure what to do. Yeah. But in this case, TechnicS doesn't have that. Yeah.
This is a little bit nasty though. In the natural expansion, there's some heavy Corsair pressure happening, and here is a massive engagement right now over at the top of the map. Big storms going down all over the Zerg army. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of dead Hydras. Another big storm going down. DragOn is busting through right here. The army is melting for TechnicS, but does he have enough more links streaming in to take down these Dragoons? But I think the Dragoons do just about have a critical mass. The observers all getting scourged down there, and more links coming in. TechnicS has so much stuff, and DragOn getting pushed back. It looks like he might lose another big expensive army, not unlike last game. Big engagement for these guys. All these Dragoons going to go down. He just needs to run them away post-haste.
That is insane. Did you see those storms? I was like, those are perfect storms. And it just didn't even matter because TechnicS was, you know, making only Hydra Ling. So, you know, you kill 20 of those units with 1 storm, and they're so cheap, and there's so many, it doesn't even matter. I mean, that's just crazy. I cannot believe TechnicS actually pushed that back.
When you're fighting against a pure Hydra Ling, you can't. This is why you can't have any money in the bank. You need 100% of your money to be out there on the field fighting.
Oh man, he's losing his goons again. He's wasting the goons. The goons are too expensive. You can't waste the goons.
This is bad. This is very bad for DragOn. He's pushing all the way back. to his own third base. He is getting a fourth base up though on the right-hand side, and he's going to have a few cannons up. But I think TechnicS is wise to this. He's going to head on over there with a pretty decent number of units. But TechnicS, oh, he's getting very supply blocked. The Corsair is still being very active for DragOn. He's kind of the opposite of how he played versus Ziki. His Corsair control has been really good so far, but his big army and macro has just not been quite up to scratch. And he's just wreaking havoc with those Corsairs, even still at this stage of the game. But that Nexus is going to go down, not going to last too much longer. The probes are going to get caught. They're still transferring in there. DragOn, pull those probes back. He does finally manage to pull the probes back, but he may even be overwhelmed here. No, it looks like his army is going to be big enough to clean up the last of these Hydras. Maybe TechnicS overstayed his welcome just a little bit. We don't have any fresh observers in this army.
Oh man, the Lurkers are going to run into a suicide line. Oh my god, the Lurkers all just going to die straight away, barely getting a shot off. The base has fallen, but at what cost? TechnicS down to 90 supply against 170. DragOn re-macroing like a boss here, although it looks like he's getting a bit stuck on this ramp. But Storm should help take care of that, as well as these Zealots pouring in. So DragOn gonna clean up the rest of these Hydras. Meanwhile, he's also getting the base here at the bottom left. The Corsair's still doing damage. I mean, this is a pretty intense game, though.
Yeah, very intense from these guys. DragOn is doing a great job with his Corsair presence.
Oh man, the upgrades! This is why TechnicS owned up the first engagement. He's at 2-2 already against 1-1.
Wow.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Although DragOn should be higher than that on the upgrades by now.
Yeah,
really.
for sure.
He should be off 2 forges at this point. Ideally, he should be getting double upgrades. He should be moving faster. Now with the he still doesn't have the next upgrade coming in on his forge, his natural expansion. Really slow on that. He's pushing still with a big army though. TechnicS using this opportunity to take another base in the middle. I don't know if that's going to last too much longer. DragOn might get a few of his High Templar core right here. He needs to pull back and recollect his army and deal with these Hydras coming from the back. But he may just have left enough for Skeleton Force to do that. And he's pushing all the way in the natural. And TechnicS just has nothing in his natural expansion. He's going to have to try and get back up that ramp and save his natural. But there's so many High Templar still there. Can we see good storms from DragOn? If we see good storms, then he might be able to do this. But he's losing a lot of stuff right here. He's lost all the Dragoons of his army. Where are his storms? DragOn needs to be using storms right now, but it looks like his Zealots are going to be able to do the job for the time being.
The thing is, he's completely supply blocked TechnicS though, so TechnicS can't make any reinforcements to stop this, but it doesn't matter because he cleaned it up with the units he had. And DragOn loses his whole army again. It looks like he's remade the bottom left base though, even though he lost it. His only force right now though is the Corsairs. He's got just a paltry ground force. Really should not be moving these out to attack. Should just go maybe down. I think, yeah, okay, he's just going down to the bottom left base to try and keep that alive. He knows he needs it, but there's 3 cracklings going to town on the probes right now. It looks like TechnicS just focusing down the probes. You're going to ignore that goon. 5 kill Zergling, 7 kill Zergling, 8 kill Zergling. How many? 9 kills before it finally gets taken down.
Cracklings are so good. They are so good. And how on earth, with like a 70-80 supply deficit, did TechnicS get another base up in the middle of the map during all that craziness? This should not be happening. DragOn just, his control let him down so chronically there in that battle. He had so many High Templar which died. We saw like 2 storms in total. He just did not collect his army together well enough. He doesn't see fit to GG yet. I guess that 4th base is what he needs to feel like he's actually got a decent chance in this. And TechnicS not looking too rich at this point either. And still behind on supply, but even so...
But it's very close. It's only a 10 supply difference roughly. Oh, but there's a lot of Overlords migrating. The Corsairs are close. The Corsairs are close. 3 Overlords really for free? No, not going to go for it.
These Overlords are looking more and more ridiculous by the set.
Hey man, Overlord speed is so 2010. Dude, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, well, clearly. This is insane. Look at them. It looks so stupid at this point in the game for them to be meandering around like
I know. It'd be like if the Zealots...
Oh, DT!
Where? Oh god! Nice.
Sorry, go on.
Nice spot. No, but it would be like if there still wasn't Zealot leg speed right now. Like, imagine how ridiculous the Zealots would look if they were running around like slow lots. It just wouldn't make any sense. In the meantime, we finally have 2-1 for this Protoss, but 3-2 already for TechnicS. It's really beasting on the upgrades. And let me tell you, upgrades in PvZ, basically in PvZ and TvZ, I think upgrades are so crucial because of the high rate of fire of Medic Marine and also of especially Zergling Hydra, you know, of how many units there are. Really cannot be out upgraded as the Protoss. I mean, this just cannot happen.
And his army's so small as well. So small.
Yeah.
and he hasn't had another upgrade in for a while. He's researching a secondary forge in the back of his natural at this point, but his upgrades are a long way behind his opponent in TechnicS with another massive army. There is no way DragOn can push this. DragOn,
oh man, he needs to not attack. He's only mining off one base. He doesn't have anything to fall back on.
He can't do this. There is no way this engagement would end well for DragOn. He's got a good amount of storm, but his army is puny and he's mining off practically nothing. He needs to hold a base at all costs, but he cannot attack into that.
Well, why is he making Archons? Stop making Archons, bro.
What? Why? Here
sure.
comes the engagement. TechnicS coming in with so many units. Holy crap, that is a lot of absurd stuff. So many lings. Good storms from DragOn, but I don't think it's going to be enough right here. That is such a lot of stuff from TechnicS. DragOn storming very well, but even so, TechnicS pushing through with a good number of lurkers still remaining to him. But nice engagement from DragOn. Against the odds, but here comes more units from TechnicS. That Nexus only just up. It's going to be going down very quickly. And a couple of cannons going to warp in. Don't know why he's letting them finish, but I guess it doesn't really matter. He's mining off just one base. This is miserable for DragOn. How has he let this happen?
Man, TechnicS is so good. I can't believe it. I mean, this makes me happy.
Is he better than Zeke?
What?
But he's not better than Zeke.
Well, maybe not. GG from DragOn. But man, that game. You know, I mean, like I always knew TechnicS was good. In that game, I had the moment where I'm like, wow, TechnicS is good. You know? It's one of those moments, man. It's great. It's like a revelation.
Really good. But how DragOn's army control slipped so far in that game is a little bit beyond me. That engagement where he looked like he should have broken into the natural, his army just got nastily split. With a relatively small division of TechnicS' army on its way across the map, he just got distracted. He bled units, and by the time he actually got to his opponent's natural, he just had Zealots and High Templar. He didn't have too much backbone left, and I don't know quite how it went so wrong at that stage.
I wonder if he might have been a little bit frustrated at that point, because TechnicS was doing a lot of good backstabbing. I mean, TechnicS had just killed 2 of his bases that he was trying to take. So he was down to his original 3. He was barely mining. I think he might have even been in like a semi-all-in mindset, like I really have to do damage with his attack or I can't do anything. But then he's like, oh my god, this freaking Zerg, you know, running around backstabbing me like crazy. I mean, you know how it is as a Protoss player. It's really maddening, because you know in a straight-up engagement your army would win. And the Zerg knows that, so he doesn't engage you straight up.
Yeah,
you know, he just kills your bases and doesn't attack your army. And by the time you actually fight, you don't actually have a big enough advantage to win, and then you have no bases, and you're just like, oh my god, Zerg. You know, so I think it might have partially been that. Of course, he still, you know, definitely could have done better for sure. But you know, before that, just TechnicS making really good use of just the low-level units. I mean, he stayed on like high. You know, he made a few mutas in the beginning of the game and was like, well, that didn't work. All right, Hydroling, let's do it. And then it worked. So I guess that's the solution.
It blows my mind how much of a failure those Musalists were, and how little it mattered. That's the amazing thing. That's what we really have to notice about that. Just how little it actually mattered. And he was just able to bust down more units.
And how little the lack of Overlord speed mattered in the end.
Yeah.
Apparently that's just not a useful upgrade. You don't need it.
You don't need it. You don't need Overlords.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't need them.
You don't. I mean, they don't even attack, so why would you need them?
Why would you bother?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting decision there from TechnicS, but he backed it up with a ton of units, and it paid off.
Mm-hmm. Well, that means TechnicS is up 2-0, and since it is best of 5, he is 1 game away from taking 3rd place here in TLS3. DragOn in the same situation as he was in the round of 8, but that does mean it's possible. See, we can't count DragOn out yet because he's done it already in the TLS3. He's made the reverse 3 sweep. Let's see if he can do it here against TechnicS. We'll come back for game number 3 after the break.
Don't go anywhere.